Hello and welcome to QTV's This Morning. And being Thursday, this is the last show of the week, and it's also episode number 498. We're getting close to the 500. And here with me, I have Mr. Mboj, episode 498. Who could have thought when this started back in the day that we'd be hitting 498? But yeah, we're there already.
Time flies.
Welcome to the program. And we also have to do the newspaper reviews. We have our MD, Mr. Malik Kar. Mr. Kar, as ever, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Adedrame. It's my pleasure as always.
Thank you. And for those who miss Ibrahim Asori Balde in this seat, fear not. He did announce that he's a new father, and yesterday was the naming ceremony. I won't spoil it. I know the baby's name, but when he comes back, he'll tell you all. For those who've been asking, it's not my business to tell you. But what have we got on the show? Well, we've got, as usual, our African proverb, and we'll delve into that. We also have our newspaper review, and we'll also have some young people talking about the African Youth Leadership Hub. They've now launched a Gambia chapter. And what are they doing? They're paving the way for future leaders. So we'll have some of them here to talk about that. And we've also got the Q Group Chairman's Trophy, the final, coming up at Q City. We'll be here and we'll be talking about some of the exciting football that you can get to see on that one. So that's what we have on the program today.
Who are the finalists?
They will tell us. We won't spoil it by telling they'll tell us when they come in. But we'll delve.
Gotta keep the suspense.
Let's keep the suspense. So those who want to find out, just hang on, will you? So I guess we started a bit late, and once again, apologies for that. And so we'll dive straight into the African proverb, and then that will we won't waste too much time. And I'll read it, and my colleagues will delve into it. No matter how powerful a man, he cannot make the rain fall on his farm alone. No matter how powerful a man, he cannot make the rains fall on his farm alone. Mr. Kar, you were nodding along there. So I'll give you the first punt at this one.
Yeah, man. I think it's just saying that you cannot be a deity, you cannot be God, you cannot determine or dictate certain things. Certain things are determined and dictated above you. So there is a limitation to us mortals, to what we can decide and determine, especially when it comes to, nature and other happenings that are, determined by, some powers that are above you. So that is not within the realm of you, so you cannot determine the rain where it falls, so that is not within your purview. So that is, but I think with the advancement of science and technology now, some of these things can be challenged now in many ways, because now man can design rain and then determine where it can fall. But I think that must be factored. But by and large, it's just trying to express the limitation of us, humans and mortals, what certain things that we can do and we cannot do.
Sure. Mr. Mboj,
yes.
It seems a clear-cut one, this one. Yeah.
Absolutely. And for me, it reminded me of another one. Rain does not fall on just one.
Which is,
exactly
or as we say in
similar.
Salon, rain no de forona waman do mot.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't fall on one person.
Just on one person. But this is the interesting thing. So here, I contrast what rain represents in this one and what rain represents in our own. So with the idea of rain doesn't just fall on one roof, I get the sense that maybe the rain represents something negative. You know what I mean? Perhaps it could be flood. But here, the rain on the farm, you need that for things to grow. So the blessings from above, I suppose in the end what I get, especially when I put these two, juxtapose these two, is that we all have our share of blessings and woes, as it were.
Yes.
Absolutely. Nobody can control that.
Well,
there's something, as Malik said, there's something much bigger
it's interesting.
Personal forces out there.
Yes.
And, we all have our share of things.
We can do all we want. But when I read it, I was interested because during the rain season, there was a story that I kept wanting us to do, which is when you drive along Bertel Harding Highway from Airport Junction all the way to Stain Corner, you will come across several patches where there's rain and several where there's none. On the same route, on the same journey, not at different times of the day, on the same, and I actually wanted us to film that just to show how remarkable this phenomenon was.
Yeah,
And it happened
there is always
10,
a cut-off
15, 20
point.
times. Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you can
Yes.
see that also where two rivers meet as well,
Yeah, go
or the sea and the river.
Yeah.
You can see the demarcation.
That's
So
right.
nature works in very fascinating ways, and you see certain things that you cannot explain, and that's the beauty of appreciating
Yeah, correct.
nature.
Yes.
You see a lot of things then, you know, inexplicable.
Yeah,
So
correct.
they are beyond our, you know, our comprehension, because we are limited in our cognition, in our interpretation. That's why we are able to use instruments sometimes, like, you know, to see microbes, we have to use other instruments, because there is a limit to what we see, because our eyes can see certain type of light, and beyond that they cannot see it. So we have limitations. So
I
we
think
use
that's the beauty of proverbs, because these proverbs actually remind us of our limitations.
Oh, this is
Then it makes you wiser.
It makes you wiser.
Yeah, it makes you think about things,
Yeah,
and
right.
you are more cautious,
Yes.
as it were.
Yes.
So that's why sometimes they say that overconfidence is fool's gold,
Well, this is
as it were. Yeah.
And
they bring out wisdom as well.
Well, that's right. And I like this particular one because even in the literal sense, you might have all the money, all the wealth in the world, but there are certain things, certain natural phenomena that they befall all of us, good and bad. You know, I know they've used rain here because if it's a farm and a farmer, you want rain. But you know, both good and bad, you cannot control it, no matter how much wealth and power and influence you have. So yeah, I like this one. Yeah.
Absolutely. So in the end, what is it? Humility.
Well,
What
yes,
is it
it's
teaching us?
teaching people
Absolutely.
that you know, you might have all of this, but you have to be humble.
Yes.
And it's like saying that, you know, you might be the most powerful man in the world, but one day you will die.
Absolutely.
Even if you're the king. Death doesn't just befall the beggar. It befalls the king, the mighty, and the low. So,
Yeah, certain things you cannot control,
you
they're
can't
beyond
control
you.
and you can't escape.
No matter what power you have on this world, you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's how they are.
Yeah, go ahead. So yeah, we'll I think we exhausted that one, and we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we'll come back, we'll just some of the stories making the news, if we can get hold of them. Join us after this break.
Others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a QCell SIM card for free. Yes, absolutely free. Walk into any of our customer care centers and get a SIM free of charge. With a QCell SIM card, you can get the fastest and the most reliable internet plus wide range of amazing services. So rush now to any of our care centers and get a free SIM now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell Sunyubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. That's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyubus. We innovate, others follow.
Hello and welcome back. Unfortunately, I have to confess, I don't have the newspapers in front of me, but there are lots of big stories going on around the world that we can delve into. And so, but Mr. Carr, I think at one point you were telling me that the trial with the journalist was due to take place today. Is that right? Or you read somewhere?
Yeah, I glanced it.
here
I
in the
didn't have
Gambia.
the details, but I understand it's the hearing will take place today. So it's very interesting, and we'll want to know the outcome of that. But I think it's very challenging, and you know, it could have been dealt in a different way, I assume. But then I think everybody have a prerogative to decide what you want to do in terms of if you feel that you have been injured or your image or personality. But then also you have to take it in a broader context to understand that, I think better counseling would have been, I think, to seize it and allow, not to
I
think,
Mr. Mboji wanted to come in.
Yes, with me on these things. Each agency, each group, you may decide to do whatever you want to do. But thank God, judiciary, now once you go there, they will decide, as it were. It's use your judgment. So this is why we keep insisting that the referee must be absolutely independent. So that we can exercise our rights, we can exercise all sorts of things. Once we have that independent referee, then you can take your judgment about things, then we'll test.
But the fraternity within the media circle, the empathy, the understanding, and what we're trying to advocate for is why we say better counseling would have addressed it in a different way, so that it doesn't have to affect.
That didn't happen, and we are where we are. And I think we can
So
pull up some newspapers on the screen now. I think we first have the Standard. A woman suspected of killing mother arrested in Tujereng. These are the kind of things that
very unfortunate.
they always send
You have
shockwaves
to,
when they're here. But
have
as
to know
you
the
said
circumstances.
yesterday, globally, the people who kill most are people, they're killed by people they know. Most murders are committed by somebody who is known to the murderer.
Absolutely.
And because we were talking about the code, the Coalition of African Descendants, they were talking about how in several of the cases, in fact, I think in all of the cases, the suspect or the suspected killer, the alleged killer, was somebody who worked for the person. And so we have that here.
Yeah, but such tragedies are normally embedded with a host of issues, mental and otherwise, until you know the facts and the details you wouldn't know. But it's rather unfortunate because I feel that, mother is very close to anybody, regardless. And for it to happen, I don't know. We don't know the details, but it's sad.
So if we can pull up the...
Rarely do we get, what do we call this, matricide?
Matricide,
yes. Rarely do you hear about this sort of thing.
I mean, that's the one, I can certainly read from here. But I think it's also worth mentioning, and it's a pity our colleague Gajaga got home close to 2 a.m. yesterday, otherwise he would have been able to update us on the fact that the CAF officials were at the stadium yesterday. Yesterday night, inspecting the stadium, and there seemed to be general excitement. There hasn't been an official announcement yet, as far as I'm aware, but we don't want to do what we did before when the rumor kind of took hold to the extent where even the office of the president ended up tweeting a rumor that the stadium had been given clearance. So at this time we'll wait for the official announcement, but the signs and the vibes seem to be good. Mr. Carr, nothing better than playing in front of a packed stadium full of your own fans, surely.
Absolutely. It adds another extra player.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say
you have the supporters, especially with the type of support fan base the Gambia have. They're very, vocal, and with all these cultural dances and all these things, it can sometimes disorient the opponent and give you an edge. So that is why it's important, and also allow the young ones to go and witness the heroes, the people that they love to watch play football day in, day out. Some of them playing outside, we don't get to see them. So when they come here, that is also an added thing. It also boosts the morale of the players and also the people. I think it would be very, very good if CAF go ahead. We've been waiting for this for far too long now, almost 3 to 4 years. So I think they have done.
Absolutely.
You're a football fan like myself.
It's a moment to be excited about. The other day when I heard, it was sort of false news. We were not sure, we couldn't confirm it, that in November we'll be playing our next match against Comoros at the stadium. We thought that was approved. Fantastic. Then I thought, nice. I can take my boys, we go and watch. You see, stuff like that. It could be a family day out, as it were, and stuff like that. So we're all excited about it. There's a high expectation that we'll get the clearance. We hope we will. And
from afar, it looks well done. I don't know the details, when you come to the toilets, there are certain details that, but looking at it from the distance, it looks
It looks fine to the kind of untrained eye, is what I told Gajaga the other day, because we wanted to go there and film, and they said no, until the inspection, we're not allowing any media to come in and film, because we wanted to show people why we were excited about the fact that it might get the all clear, but they said no, if you do that, you might raise expectations, and we need to manage expectations.
Absolutely, they are right. Yeah.
We don't want to prejudge anything. So, and that was the right attitude. We didn't mind because we understood why they were doing
Well,
it. But,
if
our colleague Gajaga managed to get there yesterday. And so
well, thumbs up to the minister if he can pull this one, because people are really excited. and happy.
we're, you know, as I said, looking forward. So, do we have Point newspaper? We can take a headline from that one. If we can pull that up on screen, and there you can see, Turkey observes 101st anniversary in Gambia, and Turkey they had a lavish affair at the embassy. Our team were there. We carried it on the news. 101st anniversary, and actually, I wish we'd seen that story, because we did a short piece on it, and we could have played it. It actually starts with a short speech from Mustafa Kemal.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the report yesterday.
And you know, very much the father of the modern nation of Turkey, which kind of the successor to the Ottoman Empire, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely, and reading into what he did,
Yeah.
his life will be highly beneficial for some of us in the state of development that we are in.
Yeah, quite.
Just to sort of
Just to observe
examine
and
the ideas around what he was doing.
Very much a visionary.
But you have to understand also the geographical location of Turkey itself,
It bestrides
because the
Europe
cultures,
and
they
Asia.
converge there.
Yeah,
Both
right.
West, East, you know,
And
they converge.
Right.
It's I mean, Turkey is bordering with Germany on one side and bordering, so they are very European, and they are also at the same time.
Where East meets West, they call
yes,
it.
and
That's really what
And
it is.
literally you can cross.
You can
It
cross
has
the
always
bridge.
been like that.
Bosphorus,
So
isn't
it was
it?
a melting pot of cultures, and that's why at that point in time their development was quite impressive and catching to the eyes of the entire world in the Ottoman times. So they have achieved a lot, and up to now is a very developed and progressive society. So they are able to keep that balance where there is no extremism, and you know, either way, and that sometimes helps.
And it's a Muslim country which has the word secular in its constitution.
Absolutely. Atatürk insisted
on that. Yeah.
Just that afterwards now Erdogan and others,
is the first who,
that's it.
and he's the first since the founding whose wife wears the hijab is Erdogan.
It's
So
their
he's
culture,
brought-
so
it's-
what
it's-
you wear, those things for me are
yeah,
non-issues, because it's at
Well,
the
well,
behest
you
of
say
the-
that,
I think
but
what
in-
he was
in
trying
Turkey,
to do
yes.
was to modernize.
He wanted to
Just
modernize.
as previously in
Yeah,
Europe, rest of Europe, they have separated church from state.
Yeah,
They
quite.
wanted to replicate exactly
Quite.
that kind of idea in Turkey as well.
And
That
part
was
of-
why they included secular in the constitution, even though they were majority Muslim.
And part of that separation was the fact that because it was a Muslim nation, he stopped Arabic being the official language to their own language, using the Roman script rather than Arabic script. So that was part of the kind of divorcing of, you know, state and
but you have to
religion.
deculturize sometimes, because decolonization is
It
a
can be
process
quite
of
a-
language is very important
Yeah.
in terms of colonization.
Yeah.
So I think it was good that they were able to achieve that, just like the other cultures, the
well,
Arabs
that's right.
and others.
Absolutely.
So-
And it's quite interesting. We can just compare here with China as well. China also had something called the Cultural Revolution.
Yes, that's
it
right.
seems that any revolution, for it to be successful, there has to be this cultural element. It's really now that you're beginning to understand people like Cabral, when they said the new man. I think was really referring to this culture. All of Africa were saying the new man, independent, so how should you be?
It's the same in
That's
Kenya,
the
where you
key.
had Dedan Kimathi.
Yeah.
You know, we are advocating
Dedan
for
Kimathi.
all
Yeah,
these
correct.
cultural revolution. So therefore, it's important. Language is very important in terms of defining a people, defining a culture. So I think they got it right on that one.
That's right, yes. So
That's on the right direction.
Happy anniversary.
well, happy anniversary to
Absolutely,
them, 101st
absolutely.
anniversary. So yes, wish them, and of course they've been, you know, there was a recent terrorist attack there just last week, in which you know, some people, a few people were killed, and at this event at the embassy, the Gambia extended condolences to the
You know, they
Turkish
have
people.
their own internal
Of course,
problems as well.
you have the
because they have
separatists
this,
as well.
The
Yeah,
KKK,
the
is
Kurdish
it?
separatists,
Yeah.
yes, PKK, yeah, correct. So yeah, so that's so on the Foroya we have unfinished business. It says the reality behind the Numi Hakalang Road delays. So that one is one that
I think they're trying to set up a commission.
That's right, to find out what's
wrong,
been the delay. So yeah, and so even as we talk about other infrastructure, road infrastructure, we carried the story yesterday. There are still some.
The minister did make a statement that all the roads will be completed by
next year.
I think March or something.
Of next year,
of
2025.
next year.
Yeah.
So that's not far off. So we can
it's around the
hold
corner.
and wait.
Quite. So yeah, Sambojo and I, we traversed the Bertel Harding, so we're enjoying at least one of the roads that's been that's been very well made. And as I said, we carried a story yesterday on the news about that. And one of the examples I gave the very reporter who did it was that there was an incident when I was going to visit some friends in Brufut, and I realized I'd made an appointment. They're very punctual people. They said 7 o'clock, and at 6:35 I was still in the office. And I quickly grabbed all my things, and I remember Julde was one of the people who said, "Oh, you won't get there for 7." And I swear, 1 minute past 7, I was at their door at Brufut.
Yes,
and that's because on a Saturday, admittedly, there wasn't a lot of traffic, sailed through.
That's lovely. But I hope they complete the rest of the works, because incomplete works is an eyesore and also degenerates. It makes your cost even go higher.
This is it.
The longer you leave it there unattended, I mean, I don't think it's wise in terms of your budgeting and in terms of the eyesore.
Well, just as you said, it's a bit of an eyesore, and it can look horrible.
Yeah.
And I remember when we had them on here, when they were doing it, they talked about different phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 3 was also meant to include the sort of roads that run parallel to. I live on one of those roads. It's been untouched.
Yeah. I think Sila is committed this time to ensure that the work is completed.
We're definitely hoping it is.
So let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, this is it. Absolutely. So we're looking forward to that.
We were worried that after the OIC,
they would
then the pace of work
might
would slow down.
But one of the things that they had promised, which I see they're very much keeping to, is that people would be going along and cleaning it on a regular basis. I see almost every couple of days. You'll see them sweeping up, and
the sand builds
up and stuff. Yeah, and they've been
I think the other things that they should also look on that highway is parking. Some of them use one of the lane, the outside lane, and park there.
It's dangerous.
It's not meant for parking, because they literally close that lane, and therefore it becomes a 2-lane road. The other thing that we observe, myself and Boj, regularly is donkeys and horse carts on the road, and even these small Jakarta cars. These vehicles should be prohibited. So there are 3 things that they should look into. One, to ensure that there is no parking except for designated areas.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a few bays where people can
those
park.
bays can be used, but you have vehicles lining up. Maybe late at night, when Saturday, those things can be honest. But during the daytime, it should be free flow, no parking on the side roads. You have these police traffic officers with their motorbikes. They should ensure that all the lanes are clear and clean for traffic to flow.
And the one that I hope somebody from the traffic people are watching this, please, where we call traffic light. So imagine you've gone down Kairaba Avenue and you've gone round and you now want to join Bertel Harding. That strip. Where you join the road, people park right there.
They park and the vendors are there and selling. They should clear that everybody should be behind.
I can't even believe that people
think
that's a place.
This is not stand.
It's so narrow.
That's what we are saying. They stand in front of the railings. They convert it into a marketplace, and also vehicles could just come. They should have, in UK, they have double red lines. Double red means no stop at any point in time. Red means no stop. So they should have these color codings where, they should not stop on those lanes, because if they start doing that, they're closing one lane. And that is what is happening at the moment. One lane is closed. You see a lot of parked vehicles there. So if you follow that lane up to some point, you are about to diverge into the other lane, because there is a vehicle parked in front, and it should not be there.
It shouldn't be there.
So I think they should look into those things.
They really need to monitor, and you're not monitoring it for me. I think for everybody.
Not allow donkey and horse carts on the roads. It's not allowed. They should use the side roads. They should not be on the highway. They have no these small vehicles.
Yes, when we talked about it yesterday, especially that narrow strip you're talking about, we said, and and the rest of us said, man, that's our park lane. We've turned it into that.
Yeah,
really. So.
And you have these traffic officers being given motorbikes. So this is their job. They should make sure that it's clear and clean all the time. Traffic flow, non-stop.
And yet it's not.
But this is the connection, though, Ade. Early on Saturday, as you said, there was no traffic.
Yeah, quite.
You got there quickly, so the road is there.
Yeah.
Can we try using it properly?
Yeah.
You see,
quite,
that's really now it is our turn, as
Yeah.
it were, when it comes to the zebra crossings. You respect it. You respect the road signs.
Yeah.
Drive properly. Don't overtake a car from the right, isn't it? We do that
that's
all the
right.
time.
Yeah,
I understand that it's from the left.
Yeah.
So you see the chaos. Then you keep wondering. This is what we say, that a system is just as good as the people.
Yeah, quite.
Really, you have to raise your game. If you want infrastructure and all of this, you also raise your game. There are certain attitudes.
Yeah, but where people don't change,
certain
where people don't change, authority will have to step in and enforce.
but that's part of the problem. That's what I'm talking about. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
The enforcement.
We're not enforcing
there,
it.
but it's because we are a people,
Quite.
not because they're anything different. They're not any different from us.
Yeah, quite.
Really, it's just this is how we behave in office, as it were.
Yeah, quite. So we have that, and we have another. Actually, quite a few interesting ones here. This one was on the newspapers yesterday. Police still investigating the electrocution incident at Kerkalo.
Okay, it's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing.
That was a very tragic incident as well,
indeed.
and it brings into focus the issue of health and safety, which all offices or private institutions should take seriously.
Sure.
Regularly training, ensure that your buildings, and the mindset about health and safety has to be inbuilt into the workplace.
Yeah,
if we don't do that, then we'll have incidents like this. Sometimes collapse of buildings and all this is due to negligence or lack of, due diligence in terms of ensuring that there are proper procedures and strict rules to follow. Health and safety is a very serious matter, but I see that it's not been given that
kind of
priority in terms of,
Yeah, I totally agree with you with that one. And this is one that people will be following because it's still a bit lack of clarity about what exactly happened in the incident. We've had 2 or 3 different versions of how these people came to be electrocuted. Initially, of course, they were also said to be Nawek. Then we've heard that it was a subcontractor who then subcontracted even further down the line. So all of that, I guess, will form part of the investigation.
But it's a chain. Regardless, there is negligence at some point, and that ought to be, established so that they can avert such kind of, expensive, tragic incidents.
Right. Yeah. So
and whatever we learn from this. Then you try to apply it so that hopefully it wouldn't happen again. That's the whole idea of these investigations, to attribute culpability where it is appropriate. And then you also learn other lessons of management or organization. How do you do it so that it wouldn't happen again? So it's just a whole chain.
It's the fire that happened in London, the tower in West London. The report that's come out, it runs to several thousand pages. It's been discussed in the Houses of Parliament and thorough inquiry that went on for ages, and now they've talked about the lessons learned from it. Certain buildings were no longer allowed to have certain types of cladding and materials. So
that's where health and safety rules come. You look at incidents, how to avert them, then you implement a program, structure a training profile, and this health and safety. Institutions, they go around.
Quite. They go and
talk to institutions, educate them about hazardous things, use of chemicals, fire incidents, road, and all these things. So it's a kind of holistic approach that they need to do and empower such an institution. It should be as powerful as Pura or anyone for that matter, or even more.
Yeah, quite. Because people's lives are at risk. So, a quick one here. Still on Foroya, UTG admits 1,075 students.
I hope 90% are science students. Because
they had their matriculation yesterday, and there was one very familiar looking face there. One Julde Njai was one of those who was matriculated yesterday. And we heard the Vice Chancellor, I think it was, saying that they had several thousand applications, but we could only take 1,075. That's quite a huge number still, when you consider that there's already a student body of I don't know how many thousand already. And the new intake, this is 1,075. That's quite a big.
Education, Ade, is the bedrock of development.
Of course.
And if we have young people going to tertiary institutions, institutions of higher education and learning to acquire skills, it does help in terms of the trajectory to development. But the emphasis should be, what are our needs?
I like what you said about, you hope they're going into particular fields, because, a lot of them are going into fields where they now, when they finish, they can't find employment, or they can't even create employment for themselves or for others. And they become part of this huge kind of unemployed mass.
You don't want to denigrate any profession, but there are priorities in terms of developmental needs. And such priorities must therefore be aligned with the curriculum of what we want. And that should be deliberate. A lot of countries did do that, and they were able to really register a lot of progress.
I was speaking to some students last week, and they were asking me for advice, kind of career advice. And I said, look at what there is. What are you going to do? When you finish, what do you want to do? Those are the things you need to know. What am I going to do with my degree? Just have a nice piece of paper saying I did this? Or is it going to give me something that, can make me employable, or that can make me be somebody who might have entrepreneurial skills, that, if I align that with my degree, I could create something, I could go somewhere, I could get funding and so on. I said, think about those things. We all like to have, nice history or whatever degrees, but, what can you do with it? What do you do with it? And because that's the next step. It's all nice being at university, but, are you going to leave with something?
The state, like an underdeveloped country, have to frame the structure and the framework and give the guide, the direction, as to where we are, heading. That is.
When I came here first, and I saw how many people had graduated with development studies and law. I mean, every year over 100 graduate with law degrees, and over 120 with accountancy degrees every year.
You see, as you were talking there, I'm just thinking, really, what is education for? This is an old argument, isn't it? You see, I'm all for STEM, entrepreneurship, and all the rest of it. But there must be another sense that will make it useful for my society. I think we are suffering from this. Some people say that, I blame the intellectuals. Remember OJ, at his TRRC, the late OJ, he blamed intellectuals. You see, I could be a brilliant engineer, a brilliant doctor, but again, I can run the country to the ground. That's all part of education. It must be embedded within a culture, certain values. So this sort of excising it from this embedding and just concentrate on STEM and entrepreneurship and all of these things. I've been against this since I was at QIT. I said that the holistic aspect is really very important. We are suffering from that. That is why when I come, you give me a position, I'm brilliant at it, but I am milking it. There is something amiss with my education, really.
I think the reason why
it's a broader valued embedding of education.
The reason why we're sort of concentrating on things like STEM and so on, to have us say last year that for the first time people graduated with civil engineering, it meant you have 100 civil engineers working in the Gambia. Not one is Gambian. That's why we're saying go into these things, because, you can find work here in those, with that skill set, with that qualification, and instead of us having to import this all the time.
Absolutely.
And then people, otherwise you end up, you can live with it. Education is fine, but why live with something that you can't get employment with, you can't work with? What was the point of it? Just to say I'm educated? That's beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
The work element,
you can never take away the work element. But again, we are seeing something else. You're well educated, then you leave. The brain drain started a long time ago because of you thinking of the prospects, the salary prospects and all the rest of it. So this is really what my issue is. Whereas there was a period, people will go out to study and return.
Oh, yes, yes.
So this is what I mean by the embedding. There was a different set of value to people go to top universities, Cambridge or Oxford, but you returned. Can you imagine?
But some of what
now
they
it's
went,
the other way.
some of what they went to go and learn and came back with, we never had here, which is why you needed to go out. What we're saying is we have it here now. Study it here.
So
you don't have to leave
the
and go.
standard.
Even that is a win-win. Even if you have the brain drain, you have to look at the amount of remittances that comes back. So what we are saying is, look at Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, most of the nurses that you find in America and in UK are from Zimbabwe. Because they have been training them, but they continue to train. You'll have a lot of them go.
Never mind Zimbabwe, go to a London hospital, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana. I know, I've said this many times. My mother, in the last 2 weeks of her life, in one hospital, over those 2 weeks, was attended to by 10 nurses from Sierra Leone.
From Africa.
In a single, from Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
As soon as they saw her name, Darami, they were like, oh, Mama na salon posting, and they started introducing me to the rest of them in one single hospital, King's College Hospital, in Denmark Hill. 10 of them from Sierra Leone, from one country. So you're right. There is that kind of brain drain and so on, and sometimes we benefit from it because there's an organization called TOSHPA, Organization of Sierra Leonean Health Professionals Abroad, and what they do is every year they come back to Sierra Leone and they work in the very hospitals where they were trained. For free. And in fact, a lot of time they buy equipment and bring and give to those hospitals. So sometimes there's a kind of, there is a benefit from that as well. So yeah.
Well, the way I see it, of course, we'll get all the remittances, fantastic, but again, we'll have a healthcare system that's undermanned.
Yeah, but that's why the emphasis. That's why the emphasis. That's why the emphasis have to be biased. That's what we are saying. You are emphasizing on certain aspect that every education is important, can be relevant.
Of course.
But what do we want to, as an underdeveloped, developing nation, what things do we really need in order to impact and move the society to the other level? That is what we are looking for, to structure the curriculum to address those needs. We need neurosurgeons, we need agricultural experts, so let's structure the educational program and guide them towards that so that we can produce as many as possible, and that can make a huge difference in terms of where we're heading to. That's what we are saying.
Thank you for that.
Nonetheless, we could be having lawyers and marketeers and all, but the emphasis have to be changed.
That's right. We've run out of time, and in fact I'm so gutted that we've run out of time that there is one that we were going to look at, but it's all the structures in place. Let's give it a couple of minutes. Are all structures in place for the implementation of the Access to Information Act? I think that could be a short one. The answer is no. But because it's such an obsession of mine.
It evolves. They cannot have everything, ready-made set, but as they go, they also learn and then add, and, so
it's coming.
I think that's your area. You are more...
I've been following it.
But they will get there. The fact that it has started is,
we've appointed an information commissioner.
Yes.
We've appointed the commission. They've been sworn in. They've now got a building. The building is being equipped. And they're now going to be recruiting staff. And
for me, get started.
It's happening.
We know that nothing comes into being fully formed.
Quite.
You keep on adding, tweaking, and stuff like that.
The imperfections are corrected as you go along. It's a great thing.
It's a great one.
We will learn and we will develop it.
We will develop it. Thank you, Mr. Carr, for, as ever, your insightful stuff. Thank you for joining us on the Newspaper Review. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we have some more. Don't go away.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Aji Bank mobile app. transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia, top up airtime for all networks, pay utility bills, check your account balance and view mini statements, request for ATM cards, request for checkbooks, and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Ajib Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled device. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
Hello and welcome back. And before we go to our next segment, there was a headline in one of the newspapers. I didn't read it out because I didn't quite believe it. I'll read it out now, and I'll tell you, you probably understand why we didn't delve into it. It says OMCs, this is the oil marketing companies, international traders don't pay tax. Allegedly, this is what the minister said. The reason I didn't read it out because we saw the minister's appearance at the National Assembly. We carried it, and I don't recall him saying that. So I don't know, maybe we missed it or the person missed it. But you know, so in case you were wondering why we didn't go into that story, that's why we didn't. And also the one about the Independence Stadium, we haven't had official clarification yet. It happened late last night, and the story was also carried that it's being cleared. But just get that out of the way. So next up, the African Youth Leadership Hub. The Gambia chapter has been launched. It was launched over the weekend. And we have two of the people who were involved in it. We have somebody who's known to us here at QTV, Nima Sise. Nima, your communications for this. We'll delve into that. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. And we have Omar Mbub. And Omar, you are the country coordinator.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'll read very briefly because you guys have a huge task. Says the Africa Youth Leadership Hub aims to cultivate and empower the next generation of Africa's impact leaders and global citizens who will drive change, progress, and foster prosperity and peace across the continent. That's quite a big ask. So Nima, I'll come to you first. You're the comms person for this. Tell us, first of all, what other countries have an African Youth Leadership Hub? We said the Gambia chapter has been launched. What other countries has a similar hub?
Okay, so thank you very much for having me here, and then isn't it a great honor to be here? Okay. So as a comms officer for African Youth Leadership's Gambian chapter, so before we started, there is a bigger brother, we say the ALO, that is the African Leadership Organization. So basically, this is a sub-associations of it. So the main purpose is, you know, we want to improve the capacities of young people in this country, but the main focus is on Africa at large. So when you look at what are some of the things that we look forward to in comms, or some of the things we planned for this initiatives, organizations for African leaders, is because we believe that when it comes to leadership in Africa. That is a problem, and that is what our the forefathers has started. There is a breakdown of it. The
Somewhere
continuation is not there.
They lost their way.
So it seems that we are lost along the way. So as young people who are driving towards change, we believe that we can make changes and we can create impacts in the lives of young people. So more reasons why we are driving this change.
Okay, so Omar, it says you're the coordinator. And one of the things, every time I see an organization of this nature, I have to ask, is it countrywide, is it nationwide, or is it just a case of a few people who live in Banjul and Greater Banjul? Explain to us that aspect and also what it is, because what you're being asked to do, to drive change, progress, foster prosperity and peace, those are quite big tasks that even our leaders are struggling to grasp and deliver. So how are you going to? So first, the national thing. How national is the organization, the Gambia chapter?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Everyone. Yeah, I'm Omar Mbub, the country coordinator. About the structure of the organization, we have executive level, and also we have regional coordinators. We also have an structure level on country coordinators, whereby all region coordinators. So we have people who will represent us,
right.
And he or she also will have a subcommittee also, whereby we will work together, with the vision and the mission. They will be there like for us, like someone who will be behalf of our organization. And even recently during our activities we do, so we also make sure that they also involved as well, so that we don't leave them behind.
So are people selected, elected? I know you've just started, but do you have a kind of structure which says how people will be chosen? And what is that structure, either of you?
Yeah, that one, since we took this chapter, so we come with a structure, we come with a form, whereby, the form is open to everyone, as far as you are youth, who wanna drive change.
Can I apply?
Yeah, you can.
Myself a youth. But I'm sorry.
Yeah, but also, we have also another one, that is the main subsidiary, that is ALO, that is African Leadership Organization. That one, it's been the chairman also is Ken Jami. Yeah, the same person who's also the chairman of this sub one of ALO, African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter. Like normally during what we do it form. The form was open, like to everyone. We have so many people who apply, and we have a team also. That one will do the review. About people who we should take. And during that also, it was heavy because we have a lot of people, applicants here who apply. And during that, that's how, we selected them as well.
Okay, so Nima, I'll come to you, and then Mr. Mboj might want to come in. A couple of things. First of all, in terms of outreach, how do you, as comms person particularly, to get young people to come to find out about this? What are you doing? Are you going to schools? Are you going to the university? What's your role in terms of being a comms officer?
Okay, so we have regional coordinators that, as in comes, we make sure we communicate to the regional coordinators so that they will help us in disseminating information to the various regions, because at comes we cannot do it alone. And considering the fact that we have different regions in the country, so it's going to be a very big, country. So as young people also, so we have various coordinators in these regions where we delegate them to share information and create awareness. So when it comes to, schools activities, or when it comes to some of the things that we do, sometimes we visit schools to implement our activities. And then we have, over the past days, we have planted almost 500 trees within the KM, and then we also did some beach cleansing exercise as well. So all of these are voluntary activities that we do geared towards, driving change as young people, impacting life, and again, creating, that capacities in young people to mold them to be better leaders that are going to be helping or, seeing volunteerism as something that they can take upon themselves, even though that they're not doing any other thing.
Now, my next question is about sustainability. And the reason I raise is I attended a women's organization being launched in May of last year. It was a huge thing. I won't mention the name of it, but it was a big affair. 350 people there. That organization has not done a single thing since it was launched.
Yeah, so
a year plus since it was launched. So you guys were launched, great fanfare over the weekend. How sustainable is your organization?
Okay, so
what keeps it going, funding and so on? How do I know that I won't be sitting here next year asking you guys, what have you done? And you tell me we've been sitting on our hands. So sustainability.
So in the areas of sustainability, we are also trying to partner with organizations that have visions and missions like we do, to ensure that there will be sustainability in what we do. And then we are also recruiting young people also that are going to high school, because most of our members are university students or individuals at the tertiary level. So we are trying to recruit young people also from high school so that we can have them in boards. And then our partners also, we get to involve them, or we get to partner with them. We get to partner with them with activities that we do. So even our luncheon, like everything with regards to our luncheon, we make sure that we have partners that are going to help us in implementation. And these partners, we already made an agreement with them. So in the long run, we can say there will be sustainabilities in these organizations, and then we are looking forward to make great impacts in this country.
Thank you. Mr. Mboja, I think you wanted to comment.
wonder, do you have any number for your membership? How many members do you have?
Currently, we are, according to our statistics, we are at 213.
You have 213?
Yeah.
Do you have a target?
Yes, at one point we will have a target, but we haven't got there because we are just 13. But we will look into those things, because we don't want organizations with a lot of numbers, and again, only few people are working. So at one point, so we need, maybe at one point at executive level, we're going to look at the numbers that we've been needing for our activities.
Exactly. So you've got all your activities lined up, right? To achieve, you've made your general point, the broad point that you want to achieve, better leadership and all the rest of it. Do you think that your activities can give you that final aim? I think we've been doing these things for a very long time.
Maybe
organizing
Mr.
these
Coordinator
activities.
might want to come in here.
Yes. Do you think, and why do you think that it will fulfill your final aim?
Yeah, like actually for me, I will test it myself. Because of this organization, I am able to get the opportunity, to travel to Baku, whereby I meet, 200 youths across the Muslim Azerbaijan, at this OIC, whereby, I also get to learn more about new things, new ideas, and new innovative. That's how I came back, to implement that. And even currently, we also have one member, Aliou Badara Diallo, who is currently in Algeria currently. So he debuted yesterday, and he's also part of us, our team, who, we've been nurturing since day one about ethical leadership. And like mostly also, we don't focus on entrepreneur leadership. We are also focusing on entrepreneurship. So we also see that, actually, there's a lot of young people, who drop out school, who have the skills, but they don't have a way whereby, will nurture them out so that, they can able to stand, themselves. That's why, we come with the entrepreneurship, whereby, we bring experts, those who have much ideas in those domains, so that, they can nurture them in entrepreneurship, so that, they become also, someone who will contribute in the nation development. And we also focus like this SDG, like, even though the global team, the GMT, because currently we have 12 active countries across Africa.
Right.
But for us also, we are focusing things that affect our country. That's why normally we focus on, the climate change, and the gender equality, and also good health and well-being. That's why, it came that, we're able to partnership with Gamtech, and also Waste Aim recently. They're also part of us, and also KMC. Recently, we do tree planting, whereby, we involve schools. So we go there and we teach them about what is climate change, like what they can do to mitigate climate change, how they can, are also able to become someone, you know, who will mitigate, because we have been seeing that also climate change is a global, it's not only the Gambia,
Of course.
but it's a global thing that affecting our country.
So you mentioned you went to Baku in Azerbaijan.
Can I add on to the leadership
Yeah,
aspect?
sure.
So when it comes to the leadership aspect, we are going to do it differently, considering the fact that accountability and transparency in the helm of affairs of this country is very minimal or low at one point. So what we are going to do at African Youth Leadership Chapter is we are going to start with ourselves as individuals, because we have executive members. So we are going to hold our executive members accountable. Is either you deliver or we get you out of office. So we are going to have regulations that are going to govern individual in office.
Okay.
So when it comes to leadership, we have an issue in this country. So I think we should tackle it down.
We have a problem in Africa.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
don't mind this conflict.
At large.
Yeah,
So we are going
right.
to tackle it down in the organization level, so that we can help these young people to mold them when they get into office, in public offices or institutions. They will be able to deliver.
So we're not going to have instances where somebody has been in one post for 15 years and they're no longer used and they're still hanging on to that post.
Yeah.
I hope we're not going to get that. I was going to ask Omar, you went to Baku in Azerbaijan. You mentioned there are 12 other African countries that have similar hubs. Did you go to any of those to see how those hubs are functioning? Or are you planning to do so?
Yeah, actually recently, since I took it here, in Gambia, we registered under the Minister of Justice, and also recently we registered on the National Youth Council.
Okay.
Since I took it here, like Gambia is the first country, you know, that register with all the 12 chapters, because Nigeria also, you know, is a big country. Even currently, whatever they were doing and Salarian, you know, they call me, you know, like we give them advice, you know, we give them way, even though each country have different way of registration. Yeah. So even right now, that is affecting South Africa, because South Africa, they have huge population. But even though recently they said that, you know, they make the registration. But right now we also have a GMT, like they are the one who is overseas in each country what they are doing.
The GMT is what?
Yeah, the GMT. That's
General Managing Team.
That's mean like it's a hub, you know, that oversees all the chapters, like any activities they are doing, like what they are doing. Even during our luncheon, we have the chairman, you know, Ken Jami. He was also giving open remark. Even though we have someone also there, you know, who was right now whatever we do, we write documentation so that, you know, we can give it to them. They also publish it in their magazine, in the global magazine, and we also have a website whereby each country, you know, will have its own domain of activities, what they are doing.
So people can go on there and they can see what's happening in each country. Okay, we don't have much time left, but now imagine there are youth out there, sell this organization to them. Comes Officer Nima, your opportunity, why should somebody join? You've mentioned some of the good things about you will hold people accountable and how you will do that. But if people are kind of sitting on the fence wondering, should I join, should I not join? First you and then Mr. Coordinator, Omar. So Nima, what's your appeal to those people?
So I will tell those young people to come and join us, because this organization is not just going to improve their capacities as individuals, but it's also going to give them a practical knowledge on leaderships, entrepreneurship, and then how to drive change in societies, and most importantly, doing social impact toward volunteerism as well. So as a CAMS officer, I'm going to call on all young people that are doing extremely well towards leaderships in Africa to join us in our initiative to ensure that we do meaningful development in this countries and beyond.
And Omar, before you come in with your take, are you partnering at all with the Ministry of Youth and Sports or any other youth organizations currently already established? So
yeah,
two things for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Actually,
you have 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, this is a new baby one. So for us, our door is open. So currently, you know, we are partnership with some organization. Even right now, as I'm talking to you, you know, we are expecting inshallah next week or next 2 weeks, we'll also partnership with one organization. That one also, you know, deal with about the youth issue and climate change and also gender equality.
So finally, I will say we will look into those things because in our luncheon we invited the minister himself.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, he could not make it, but he sent his representative. And all of these are positive remarks that, you know, shows that he opened his doors for us.
Sure.
So we will look forward into those things to see what could be the outcomes when it comes to partnering with them.
We'll be watching this closely. So Nima, Omar, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Viewers, if you want to get in touch with them, get in touch with us and we'll pass on your details. But we'll now go for a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be talking to some people from Nemasu Upper Senior and Senior Secondary School Press Club. Very interesting stuff. Join us after this break.
Introducing the all-new Q Mobile. Rediscover the essence of mobile communication with a device that brings you back to basics: quality, simplicity, and reliability. The Q Mobile is designed to fit seamlessly into your life, offering essential features without the fuss. 72-hour battery life, keeping you connected longer. Listen to news, prayers, or your favorite shows with the FM radio on Q Phone. A built-in torchlight, always ready when you need it, memory card slot for expandable storage, and dual SIM capability for flexibility and convenience. Why wait? Step into any of our care centers today and get your hands on the most affordable phone for just $600. Plus, enjoy a bonus package of 300 minutes talk time and 300 SMS spread over 3 months. Absolutely free. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Atanong, oro mobile amen keso pura andere Q mobile. Mobile no yade jamano. Tenon kadi no webi na fitora golmo. Tenon mojogi piji bui. Battery on ko balde tati. FM radio. Lampu. Memory card storage. Ko SIM card ili o jetata pura andrede dual SIM. Dogu joni ya haka customer care center jamen. Soda odo mobile. Teme de jego rek te a heɓay teme tati minitaji ɗi anduɗa a wowlay te non a heɓay kadi ko ɓura andrede teme tati sms te a yoɓata hay hunde ɓe sendanama ɗum e nder lebbi tati si tawiɗa faala hen ko laaɓi noddu qcell customer care e 111 qcell suñu bos minen udditi laawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki ɗum no yaadi e sartaji.
Felenting a Q Smart and in Q Smart Plus na falie hade natal seniaringol set aka wallata akata bake yenyin soto kat ko mobile tariyarim ba andum foka pare ala batterio beta ala wati janda aka ji Q Smart ya 5.9 immersive display la soto nyindu mu dalasi wuli sabanin kemenani da malati ni mobile o nyin sang iba bondulo soto la min tata for 15 GB andum kemeni muang free talk time fanam betara yele warning keme saba SMS o foka pare nyimbe mu free lati ni mobile o nyin sang walante fana ni lafta Q Smart Plus la wo fanam bijele ice screen warman bala soto minketa 6.5 inches de anin dalasi wuli nani damma isa nyi mobile o soto no andu foka pare afana nim bundle package ole nata iba 30 GB data soto la yekeme saba SMS o soto ani yekeme ni muang talk time soto nyimbe dum hani feng ita jola kana tu koma ila Q Smart ni ila Q Smart Plus soto B kabo Q Cell isa nyi mobile o soto no B na customer care build o mimba nyi banko kan momo lafta kuma ko yo moy la nyinto isa na customer care bunjulola ni 111 Q Cell suñu boss dole silo wala dole ya bulan numa.
Hello and welcome back. You're watching QTV this morning and we're into the final stretch now. Just before the break, we were talking to Nima and Omar from the African Youth Leadership Hub, the Gambia chapter. And we've got some youthful people here in the studio, and who knows, maybe in a month or two, one of them might be sitting here. Why? Because they're from the Nemasu Upper and Senior Secondary School Press Hub. So I'll get them to introduce themselves to the viewers. First, young lady, tell us your name and what your role is with the press club.
Yeah, my name is Minkin Ndabo, student of Nemasu Upper and Senior Secondary School, and I am the president of the club.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And young man.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lamin Manka. I'm a member of and a teacher of Nemasu Open Senior Secondary School. I am a coordinator of the club.
Coordinator of the club. Now, whose idea was it to form this club, and how long has the club been in existence?
Well, it all started in 2017. It was an idea that was brought forward by two individuals, Ousainou Jallow and Baboucar Mbow, a former Secretary General of the University of the Gambia Student Union, but not currently here. Ousainou Jallow is a teacher in Nemasu Open Senior Secondary School, and then we give a credit to them for establishing this wonderful club, which is enabling most of the students to take part in various categories that has to do with the club itself. Then, as I said earlier, it dated back in 2017, but then due to some issues, the club nearly got...
it became a bit dormant, did it?
It became a bit dormant.
So it's been revived?
Yeah, it's been revived by Mr. Basiru Gambia, who's no longer with us here.
Okay.
He's doing his bachelor's program in Belgium.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was revived around 2019, 2020. By then I was a student in the school.
Okay.
I completed in the school 2020, and then I'm now in the University of the Gambia, final year. So I came back in Nemasu 2021, and then find out that the club was there, and then I joined him with regards to the affairs of the club. And then today, we have a team of coordinators. We are saying a big thank you to everyone that takes part in supporting the club till it reaches where it is today.
Okay, so you said team of coordinators, so you're one of those coordinators.
Yes.
How many of you are there?
We are a team of 10.
10 coordinators. Wow. You're the president.
Yeah.
What does that role mean? What do you have to do? What are your duties as president?
Yeah, as a president of the club, my duties are not only to be as a representative for the students, but also to help in progressing, to help in the progress of the club. Make sure that everything is done in accordance. Either if any decision is to be taken, some decisions does affect the students, but like it is said, majority rule and minorities' interests have been served.
Okay.
That whenever decisions have been taken by the coordinators, I have to be there to speak on behalf of the students and make sure that each and every decision that is needed to be taken, that students do benefit from it. I know their decisions will be based on it, but if it is to affect the students, then it will positively, or 95% positively affect them.
Okay. Now, imagine I met you, we're sitting in a gele, and you told me, President of the, I'll say, what exactly are some of the activities that the press club does? What does the press club at Nemasu
Well, we did a lot of activities, including we have on on every Monday we do press reporting, news reporting, in which students, either executives or general members, will be a part of it. They will be given certain activities or details will be given to them. They will go make research on it, either what news on QTV, GRTS, or any other international or local news. They will elaborate on it, write it, come with it to school, and then show it to one of the coordinators before presenting it on the assembly ground. And another thing will be also given to them based on the school campus, activities or things that are happening in the school itself. And they will go around asking students class to class things that are affecting them. You know, if there is anything that is affecting them, information that they would like to pass to the administrative to hear their voices and stuff like that. So we do a lot of things. We also help in creating competitions like poetry, debate, quiz, and spellings, stuff like that, just like what happened on...
Interesting. Mr. Mboch.
Absolutely. I'm just curious to know, though, the press club, is it just for people who are interested in having careers in the press, or generally even people who don't want to become journalists can join? How does it work?
Well, it has different categories, right? We're looking at quiz and spellings, we're looking at drama, we're looking at debate, and then we're looking at press reporting, as you said. right? So in each of these categories, we're looking at students that are interested in any of them, right? So what we do is we sell the form to you, you complete the form and then you submit. When we have an activity that has to do with press, we make sure that we channel it to students that are interested in press, right? When we have an activity that has to do with debate or quiz and spellings or drama or poetry, we call upon the students that have completed their forms and then wrote on the form that they're interested in these categories. So we try as much as possible to bring them together and then have a training session with them so that they can be able to groom up these potentials, and then maybe tomorrow they might be finding themselves in positions that they need to be good in public speaking and all of that.
Okay.
So
it's
in
a
those
range
things, we're trying to partner with some certain institutions. Not long ago, 2 or 3 weeks back, we have partnered with Bright Future Generation Foundation. We are looking forward to also partner with Young Champion Debaters Association. These are both organizations that are, Bright Future is in concentration of poetry, and then Champion Debaters obviously is about debate. Right? So we want students not to only be in school and then take part in activities, but even after graduating, right, they will have a platform in which they can always channel and then have that platform to showcase their talent. And not just after school that talent will become a waste, and then you will be like, okay, I've been doing this when I was in school, but now I'm not having the chance to do. So the club is generally like looking at the greater perspective or the greater good of students when it comes to them after graduating and finishing their high school.
And now I wonder, Madam President, exactly. I think you are taking a job in the press, becoming a journalist as a career.
To become a journalist, to be honest, when I was going to junior school, it was one of my first priorities, like a dream. Yeah, I actually wanted to be a journalist when I was going to junior school, 7 to 9. But plans have changed now.
And let me steal one of Mr. Mboji's questions. What's the general population of the school, and what's the membership in terms of numbers of the press club? How many?
Okay, with
so the school,
with regards to that, I think the general population of the school is around 1,000, going to 1,005.
Okay.
And then looking at the statistics of the club, we'll say it's close to 150, thereabout. Right, so we are having support, but then when it comes to the students' willingness to come on board and then support, right, okay, let's say, for example, this press day that happened recently on the 29th, before we could even have students to come on board and then maybe say I'm interested in poetry, drama, or quiz and spellings, or even debate, it was somehow hectic. We have to go around the classes, around the clock, to always encourage them to come on board, because this is just an opportunity, and then we are trying to make sure that they develop these potentials or talents that they have in themselves. But then their unwillingness sometimes cause us a lot of restraints or constraints when it comes to us carrying out our activities as a club.
Now, Madam President, Lamin's just mentioned the 29th, you had the press day. Yeah. Can you tell us and the viewers what were some of the activities that you undertook on press day, on that press day?
The activities that occur on the press day were debate competition. We have poetry, quiz, and spellings. And then the drama club also made some entertainment. And
the debates, are they just for, do you invite other schools? Also, the reason I ask this, I went to a school in Sierra Leone where once a week we debated just amongst ourselves in the school, and then once a month we debated other schools. And I just wondered whether you're doing anything like that or teaming up with press clubs from other schools.
Right. President?
At the moment. Maybe if not, it might be a suggestion. Right. But I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just saying that it might be something you might want to think about. Yeah.
It's actually clash, like based on the streams.
Right.
Arts students, grade 12 art students will clash with grade 11 art students.
Okay.
And then the 12 science students, we are having agric, we are having home economics, science 1 and science 3. Those 4 classes will combine and be one.
In B1 in terms of what, like a debating team?
Yeah, a debating team.
Okay,
in terms of debate, yeah. Yeah, there will be one and compete with the grade 12, science students grade 12. That one, we're having only 1 classes.
Okay.
Then the commerce students also will clash with grade 12 commerce students.
Okay.
Grade 11 commerce students with grade 12 commerce students.
You wanted to come in?
Kind of. There's something. See, with a sort of maybe conventional press club, you know this about the press. But you're beyond that. You're broader than that.
Quite.
So what I want to know is, with all these activities that you organize, ultimately, what do you want these activities to do in the person?
Well,
this is more than journalism, but what is it you're trying to achieve in terms of the person going through these activities?
Okay, I would like to come in
the
side of the president.
Quite.
With regards to the inter-school that Derami asked, so we are trying to finalize an MOU with the Young Champion Debaters Association. And I believe when that happened, or when that happens rather, we'll invite some other schools around the neighboring hood and then maybe extend it to the greater part of the country. Because we have been invited by organizations to take part in some of these. And then we have seen how important it is for schools to come against each other and then showcase some of the things that they're good at. And then coming back to my boss, we're just looking for people, right? Not because like we want the school's name to reach at a particular point. Yes, that is one of our aims, but we want to see a Gambian youth from Nemosu Open Senior Secondary School representing the country at the latter parts of the country. Let's say the person will be like, okay, I've done this, and then it was through Nemosu that gave me this, that. So that credit will come back to us, and then we'll be like, okay, this student got the opportunity to do this and that, and then now he or she is representing the country in some of the things that the country is looking up to, and then all of that. So that gives back to the school, and then the school will also open up its doors to make sure that students will be encouraged to go through this, and then so that tomorrow when they're giving some of these positions and then the future career paths that they will choose for themselves, right, it will all be credited back to the Nemosu Open Senior Secondary Press Club.
So, Madam President, are there term limits to your presidency? Or for how long is one president? And those are the last words that before we have to wrap up, just in a sentence or two.
Well, yeah, there are term limits. My bosses are there, the coordinators.
Cool.
I'm also under them.
Cool.
Serving as a representative to for the students.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, just wish you all the best with the club, and you can invite us to come and maybe address the club one day. But that's it for the show. Mr. Mboj, thank you.
Yes.
And to our friends from Nemosu Upper and Senior Secondary School Press Club, thank you for joining us. And to the viewers, until we come your way next week when we will have episode number 499 and 500. Goodbye.